Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy Fantasy Basketball, TITTH number 122. I'm your host, Justin Bruni. I got Stephen Hammond with me tonight. How we doing, Steve? Just the two of us?
What's going on, Justin? How are you?
Not a whole lot. Happy Wednesday. How's everything going here? I heard you got your first vaccine shot for COVID the other day.
Yep, I did. I got vaccinated. So if I'm a little fatigued in this show, I apologize, but I think the content we'll be bringing is electric, so I don't think I'll be put to sleep here.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, we'll let you know if we catch you start dozing off here. How we looking for tonight though? We got a lot of action. You got any best bets or props?
We do got some action. So I have two different players. Jokic for a triple-double. In his last 4 games, I believe he's gotten a triple-double in all but one, missing one by maybe one assist. So I like that, getting that at plus 175, so no juice. Make your money there. And then I got a nice little parlay with Devin Booker to be the top point scorer in that game. Parlayed that with Trae Young over 2.5 3-pointers. So you can get that at plus 200. Get a little bit of value right there.
I like that a lot. My best prop, I'm going with Nikola Jokic and Nikola Vucevic, going with the Knicks, both over 10.5 rebounds, and that's paying plus 225. So that's my favorite. I'll also sprinkle in some Daniel House for the Rockets. He's getting a lot of minutes right now. He's back in the starting lineup. I'd like him over 10.5, 11.5 points, whatever your book is getting you. I've seen a couple of different numbers. Actually, I've also seen him at 12.5. And then Norman Powell also as well, over 20.5 points. I think that one's probably the weakest of my confidence levels, just because I feel like he could get dealt, after this game, maybe even before the game, they could pull him if they get a deal in place. But I've been seeing, Norman Powell, Kyle Lowry, both on the block. So I like him tonight. He's been just under the 20-point mark the past couple of games. I think he goes back over the top this evening. We also got some monkey knife fight props. You want to jump into those, Steve?
Yeah. So for the first game, we got Nikola Jokic over more or less than 25.5 points. And then paired with that, we got Pascal Siakam over under 20.5 points. What do you think about that?
I'll say yes to both. I'll take the over. I think there's going to be plenty of offense available. Jokic is going to be matched up against Siakam, and I think Siakam's going to have a hard time slowing him down. So I think it should be pretty interesting. Going to be a pretty fast-paced game, I have to believe, with Siakam rolling out at the 5.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. I like Jokic to have a big game. Clearly, that's why I put him in my triple-double. I feel like the Raptors of late have they've kind of been I shouldn't say shaky team, but some games it seems like they're an elite team, and then at times it looks like they can't play enough defense to stop the opposing team. So I like both of those overs there for sure.
All right, agreed. What's the next one up?
Next one up, we got Bulls versus Cleveland. We got Zach LaVine over under 26.5 points and Colin Sexton over 23.5 points.
Yeah, absolutely love the over for both of these. I think there's going to be plenty of offense available in this game. Zach LaVine, the new norm is 30 points a game. So I'll take that all day. If typically I see his props around, 28.5, 29.5, really making you, make your stand, where he's going to finish for the evening. So I'm going to go the over here. I think that number's too low for him. And I'll just go the same way, right? Like if LaVine's on his game, fast-paced offense going from both sides, I expect Sexton to drive up the number as well. I think it's going to be tough to keep him below that total.
Yeah, I'm in agreement too there. Sunday, I believe it was, I had the over for Zach LaVine at 30. He just hit that 27 mark. So he does hit the over in tonight's bet. But I think 26.5, anytime you can get that with Levine, great number. To Cavaliers, are you really worried about them being able to shut them down if most other teams can't? And I'm on the train of any Colin Sexton over. I'm on it just because he's pure scorer. Team doesn't have much to play for, but he's got fight in him. So I always like him to get some buckets. I'm going over on both of those as well.
All right, sounds good. What's the last one?
Next up, we have Devin Booker over under 25.5 points, and Vooch to be over under 23.5.
I'm going to take the over for Vooch, but the under for Booker. Booker's going to be going one-on-one with Evan Fournier. Fournier, since he's come back from injury, he's been on fire, and he's playing with some grit. So I think he's going to slow down Booker a little bit more this evening. I'd rather take the assist prop for Booker, like over 4.5. Yeah, like 4.5, 5.5 assists, I think, tonight for Booker. I like that a little bit more than the points.
Yeah, I'm actually going to flip-flop you there. I like Devin Booker to have the over. I just think all year he's been kind of a scoring machine. Great shooter, obviously. And yeah, this last one's kind of tough with Vooch. The Suns don't necessarily have anyone that can D him up. I don't think DeAndre Ayton's that guy who's going to give him too much trouble. But I like that number a little more, maybe around 20.5. I think it'd be more doable. So I'm going to actually take the under on that one.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I hope Vucevic is involved quite heavily. I got him over the 10.5 rebounds, so hopefully he keeps the pace going here for the Magic. All right, let's jump into our first set of games here. I'm just going to take these games from the top, games that have probably already started yet, i.e. the Pistons and the Pacers. I'm looking at a 6-point spread here. Pistons coming in as road dogs, plus 205 on the money line. Pacers minus 245 on the money line. Total is 219. What are you thinking here? I got the Pacers money line. That's one of my main picks tonight.
Prior to this game starting, I would have been all over Pacers. -6, actually. I think they're a good team. They got LeVert back now. Turner's in the lineup. Brogdon's in the lineup as well. I would really run with them. Pistons are a sneaky team, though. We were talking about that before the show. You never know what you're going to get from them.
Yeah, it seems like every week we're talking about the Pistons, spoiling a parlay or a pick, coming out of nowhere. Yeah. And realistically, everyone on their team is coming out of nowhere, right? I mean, Blake Griffin was like begging to get off of that team. I was not going to have the Pacers cover. They're 3-10 in their last 13 ATS. The over is 5-1 in their last 6 to the Pacers, but 1-5 to the Pistons in their last 6. So I'm really tossed up, either way. I feel like the over should come. I feel like a lot of these Pacers players have been playing a lot better recently, especially like a guy like Malcolm Brogdon. Sabonis is really settling into his own. They just got Karis LeVert. They have Doug McDermott, who's playing out of his mind right now. He's shooting the lights out. So I would have felt like the over would have been in play here. We'll get to some live betting here in a bit, but I would have taken the over 219. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think you kind of hit it with Sabonis is really coming into his own and becoming could be a star for that Pacers team. Kind of give them – they lack that true go-to guy, and I think he could be it for them. And I think if you get enough out of Grant for the Pistons, I would have taken the over here from the get.
Yeah, we'll get to some of the live betting here in a bit, but I do like that 219 number, one of the lower numbers on the board this evening. I think the Bulls and the Cavs have the next lowest. Next up, we've got Boston traveling to Milwaukee. Boston coming in as road dogs, 4.5-point spread, plus 160 on the money line. Bucks minus 180. Over-under is at 230 points. Boston looking pretty healthy tonight. Do you know if Kemba was in?
I'm not sure. Let me check that here real quick.
I know they're missing Tristan Thompson still from quarantine, but when they have Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum all in the lineup, I mean that's really who you need in there. I mean at the end of the day,
seemed like Kemba's a go. So he's not listed here. on their injuries. We just got Tristan Thompson.
All right, so yeah, if they got Kemba, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, they should be fine. Robert Williams and Thies can get it done in the paint, but I still don't expect them to win tonight. Milwaukee coming in really hot, 9-1 in their last 10, 7-0 straight up in their last 7. They've hit the over 5 out of their last 6. Opposite ways for Boston, very similar to the last game. The total's at 230. I feel like that's kind of high right now for Boston. This is a team that does not play very well on the road. So I did pick Milwaukee tonight, and I'm going to be on the under here. What do you think?
Yeah, and I love that number at Milwaukee -4.5. When I saw it a little bit here before the show, I think it had moved actually all the way to 6 or 6.5 when I saw it. So if you grabbed it at that 4.5, I really like that number. Celtics just a letdown in any game on the road. I have no confidence in them, no matter who's playing for them.
Yeah, I like them when they're at home. They like to cover at home. They certainly don't like to cover on the road. So interesting to see that climb from the 4.5 to the 6 point solid there. I think that just lends more credence to taking the Bucks money line here. I think that's the safe pick in this game.
Yeah.
Realistically, I wouldn't want to mess with the total. Having Marcus Smart come back, that's really really good for Boston because he's a big a part of their identity on defense, and he really slows down the pace of the game. Not saying that's going to be the case tonight, but the fact that he's in now and he's been healthy for a little bit, it does worry me, going and attacking the total. So I'm going to stay away from that, but I would be on the under 230 points. Next up, I've got Denver and Toronto. Denver traveling to Toronto, aka Tampa. The 2.5 point spread. Denver is a road favorite, -135 on the money line. Raptors +115 at home. Total is at 223 points. I don't know why Denver is so narrow of a favorite here. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Toronto's 1-9 in their last 10. Why are less than -200? Just to me is just not right. What am I missing here?
I'm guessing the big factor is being on the road, being that travel. But I agree. I think this is easy money for the viewers, anyone watching. I think you hammered the Nuggets personally. I didn't
put it in a parlay. I just bet that thing straight up, and I hammered down on it because I'm just like, I don't want anything to mess this up. It seems too good to be true.
Agreed.
I really feel like I'm missing something here. I really am. Similar to last week, like Lauri Markkanen making 3 3-pointers. I have no idea how he didn't hit that last week. I mean, he just didn't shoot enough. But literally in 4 consecutive games before that, like 8 or 9 3-pointers a game, and he was hitting the number each one. Driving me nuts. Denver tonight seems like the lock of all locks, but hey, I mean, I've had weird stuff happen. The Jazz the other day, they randomly lost to the Magic, and they blew a 5-game parlay in that loss. Steve, they were -500 to win the game. Like, what the hell?
That's killer.
The Jazz had to lose a game the night I bet on them. Like, what is that? hot garbage. It's killing me. Anything to wrap up this game here? Are you touching the total at all? 223?
I'm not. If I were, I'd hit the over on that. I think it's gonna go a little bit higher.
Yeah, I'm just not sure how to really value the potential of Kyle Lowry or Norman Powell leaving, because I feel like tonight could be their last game in Toronto. And now with that information, what do I want to take from it? Right? Do I want to say Kyle Lowry is going to go out, like the champ that he is for the city of Toronto? He's going to go out with a 30 point plus game. Norman Powell is going to drop 28. I'm going the opposite way. I feel like there's going to be, some bad feelings there. I don't think Kyle Lowry has any. You want to ship with him, right? But Norman Powell, he's been busting his back for this team, and now they're like, hey man, we're going to give you a big contract, so you got to get the hell out of here if you want to make some money. So I don't really know what to do with that. I'm going to take that information and lean towards the under, because I'm going to say that Toronto plays a little bit less inspired this evening because of those guys potentially, saying their last hurrah to Toronto, Tampa, whatever. Obviously, it would have been nice for Kyle Lowry to have that goodbye moment with the fans. But even if he does leave Toronto, I do believe he's going to be back with this organization in some fashion. Assistant coach, scout, whatever. He's going to be back there with this club. So shout out to him. We'll get to some trade banter here in a little bit, as we got the deadline approaching tomorrow. Next up, I've got Charlotte traveling to Houston. We're looking at a 3-point spread. Charlotte is a road favorite, -155 on the money line. Houston at home plus 135. Game total is 222 points. Excuse me. Houston just busted a huge losing streak. I don't know if it was it 12 or 13 games. They're coming off a win.
I thought it was even higher than that. I thought that they hit 20 straight losses there.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. That wouldn't be abnormal. Regardless, what do I got here on them? They're 2-8 in their last 10 ATS, 1-19 straight up in their last 20. There it is, Steve. 1-19 straight up in their last 20.
Yeah,
however, let's check this out. 15-0 straight up their last 15 at home against Charlotte.
Okay. No LaMelo now, too. LaMelo's out, right?
Yeah, LaMelo's out. I mean, there's going to be a lot of – I like the Terry Rozier props. I like some Gordon Hayward props. But, I mean, I'm not betting on this game, period, because there's just so much better action out there. I was in a clubhouse tonight talking with some people about this game, and people are saying, hey, what about Houston? You know, they got the monkey off the back. They got the win. Good matchup. LaMelo's out. They're playing at home. They're a nice little plus option in a really even matchup here, according to the books. I'm just like, guys, stay away. Like, what's the point? You know? Just picking Houston to win in this game would be just picking them to be right. And I don't need to be right. I just need to make money. And I don't look at Houston as a profitable team. We just said they're coming off their first win, but it's their first one in 19 games. You know, the home court's not going to matter much to me. So I'm going to stay away in general. If I have to pick a winner, I'm still taking Charlotte. Still taking them. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought this was easy money, to be honest. I think with or without LaMelo, I still think the Hornets are a good team. Rockets, no Oladipo now tonight. They're out. I don't know. I probably lean the Hornets here money line. I am embarrassed to admit that a few days ago when the Rockets won their first game in 20, it busted my 3-game parlay. The Jazz had beat the Bulls, the Hornets had beat the Spurs, and the Rockets could not beat the Raptors. So I lost on that one. So maybe I don't go with the Rockets this time.
So you got the hit 1 out of 20, and I got the hit like 1 out of like 14 when the Jazz lost to the Magic the other day. It happens. Shouldn't feel bad about it. It's Houston, right? They were supposed to lose and they didn't. It happens. So yeah, you're taking the Hornets. You said though, straight up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. What do you think about the total 222?
Man, I kind of want to go the under there. I just don't think that either team has enough to get that. That's a high number for that game. I would much rather see it maybe down in the 217 to 18 range if I was even going to touch it. But yeah, I'm not touching it anywhere near 222.
I'm going to stay away from the game in general. I don't recommend anyone bets the over here, but if, gun to my head, I'm taking the under. Charlotte is the better team in this matchup, so I say that they dictate the pace of play here. They're 6-1 in their last 7 to the under, so I'm going to ride with that. And I think at certain points, both of these teams can just go on big offensive droughts. They can really start, packing in the bricks. All right, let's move on to the next game. I'm looking at Cleveland at Chicago, looking at a 6-point spread. Cleveland road dogs here, plus 200 on the money line. Bulls minus 240. Over under is at 215 points. It seems a little low. I like that over initially. That's optically that's my best bet here. Just looking at the board, but I am taking the Bulls to win this one straight up. What are you thinking?
So I sprinkled a little bit, and this kills me to say it, but I sprinkled a little bit on the Cavs money line. Okay. It did move up a little bit from, I see we got a number of plus 200 here. I was lucky enough to get it at plus 235. Cool. I just have that feeling that it's one of those games that the Bulls will play great against some of the best teams in the whole league. And then you'll see a matchup where it seems like, oh, this should be an easy win for the Bulls. They actually close it out, and next thing you know, they put up, I don't know, 95 points in a single game. So
yeah, it does suck. I hate when that happens.
I do have a feeling the Bulls could win this one, just based on who's the better team. I think the Bulls are a better team than the Cavs, but I like the value that you could get the Cavs at money line.
Yeah, I'm looking for the Bulls to kind of bounce back. I believe they're coming off a loss to Utah. They played Detroit, but not very well. It was like a 100 to 86. But the game before that, they actually covered for me up against was it Denver? They covered up against Denver in overtime. So I was all about that. They made me some money that day. But yeah, they are a little bit like streaky, high and low. I feel like the last two games have been lows. So I'm gonna say tonight they bounce back in a big way. They put one in on the Cavs, who still, you keep it somewhat close. I'm not going to say they cover, but I think this is going to be within 10 points. I do like the Bulls to cover tonight. I just like the value more on the money line, and I've took them and put them in the money line with who was it? The Bucks, and I think it was the Suns. No, Memphis. Memphis, the Bucks, and the Bulls. Yeah, Memphis, okay. Bucks, and the Bulls. We'll get to Memphis here in a bit. They're going up against OKC. OKC's got Shy out, so I'm gonna roll with them. But yeah, I like the Bulls tonight. I think they can hit the over. Like I said, I just feel like those last two games have kind of been lows for them as a team. So I think they bounce back tonight, put up a lot of points.
Yep. Hey, I'll take a Bulls win. That's for sure.
Yeah, we're right there, man. We're right there in a playoff spot. I think it's like 4 through 9 is all 5 sub 500 teams. It's like 22 and 22, and that's like that for like a couple of teams, and then it's 21 and 22 in like the 9th spot, which I think we're at right behind Boston.
I can't Boston being that low, man. Wow.
They sit Kemba, and they just had injuries.
Yeah, just to hear the Bulls in the same breath as Boston, who would have thought coming into this year? But hey, I'm happy to see it. Don't know if it's the Bulls playing, out of their mind, or if it's just the Celtics really, stinking.
Playing out of our mind to be just one game under 500.
In the East, that's saying something.
Yeah, because you could be a 4th place team. I mean, We could literally win 5 straight games. You move up to the 4th spot, man. You got home court advantage in the playoffs. Win 5 straight, and that's it. I don't think that's a big ask right now in the NBA. I mean, if you can get things right, literally, what is it? Milwaukee, Milwaukee, the Nets, and the 76ers are like 7 games ahead of everyone else behind them. Mm-hmm. It's not a huge lead, but as far as the conference goes, optically, it's not great. It doesn't look good. I feel like they really need to get their act together, the NBA, with like just the best 16 teams in, because it won't let teams like, the Celtics just be like, we won't play Kemba tonight. Well, we won't play him this night. I mean, obviously they're dealing with injuries too, but my goodness, man, like I don't feel like teams will be able to, essentially quote unquote trust the process for season long. It's going to make them be more aggressive and put their starters out there and take more risks.
Exactly. And give the fans just better basketball.
Exactly. And we can trust our trends a little bit more as well.
Exactly.
So yeah, Cleveland and Chicago both 4-6 straight up in their last 10. Chicago is 4-2 ATS in their last 6. Cleveland 2-5 ATS in their last 7. I still just don't trust that number though, so I'm going to stay away from it. Just give me the Bulls money line. All right, next up I've got Dallas traveling to Minnesota. Looking at an 8-point spread, Minnesota home dogs plus 280 on the money line. Dallas minus 350. Over under is at 231.5. That's a tough number, man. I want to take the under there. Yeah. I don't think Minnesota plays their role here, and I like Dallas to win. They've been on fire. A team that has crawled from the bottom of their conference and is now in playoff contention. Loving Dallas right now. They've been a profitable team. Going to keep riding them. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, 231 for any game that the Timberwolves are playing in. That I'm staying far, far away. Mm-hmm. You never know what you're going to get. Anthony Edwards can go off for 40 one night, or next thing you know, they only put up 85 points. So right. that's just way too high for me. Mm-hmm. I don't love Dallas covering this game. Okay. But if I had to put money anywhere, I'd put it on Dallas to cover. I think this could maybe be a little bit of a closer game than we think.
I do like the under though. I mean, Minnesota's 8-4 in their last 12 to hit the over, but similar to the Charlotte game. Similar to the Charlotte game, I do feel like Dallas controls the pace of play here, and they've hit the under 5 out of their last 6. So I think that they're really setting the tone in this one. So I really do love the under 231.5. I think that, with Minnesota, still hitting the over pretty consistently, they're also due because they're just a bad team to hit the under. Another situation where you could have, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if Ricky Rubio somehow got moved before their game started, I think that would set them back as well. He's a name that I've heard pretty consistently in the past couple of days, and probably a name that should be moved. We've actually talked about him a couple months back about him just being in the wrong place. I do think that he will get moved. So, if something like that happened, a last minute, player getting pulled, I would see it coming from potentially Minnesota. So I'm going to stay away from Minnesota entirely, take Dallas on the money line, and give me the under there.
I like it.
Next up, I got Memphis and OKC. Taking Memphis in this one. They are minus 195 on the money line, 5-point spread. They are road favorites, visiting Oklahoma. Over-under is at 221. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to be out of this game, so that played pretty heavily into me just slamming down the money line on Memphis. And Memphis has been covering. They're pretty consistent recently, ATS. So I think that they do stand a good chance to cover, but I mostly like them just to win this one straight up. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think that minus 195 is a really good number, especially just to throw in some parlays there. Without Shai, I think OKC it isn't that great of a team. They've somehow just to find like this rotating cast of guys to throw in, and some of them they'll do their part and actually look like they show some positive potential. But I don't think it'll be enough. Grizzlies are a team very deep. They kind of they got some younger players that they can throw in from time to time that all get their job done. I really, really like that money line. I guess I would take the Grizzlies -5 too, if you're looking for a little bit better value.
Yeah, I agree, man. They're 8-3 in their last 11 ATS, so they're covering. Memphis is back to being profitable again. Earlier in the year, they were just covering everything. They were covering the ocean with a blanket. Right? They took a little bit of a dip. They had a bit of a lull there. Went through some injuries.
COVID, they had a little COVID spell too that put a stop to it.
Ja Morant was hurt for a little bit, but they seem to be rolling right now. And we'll get to some trade talk here in a bit, but I think this is a team that should be buyers for potentially like a Norman Powell or an Evan Fournier, really level up at that 2 spot, and you can make a run at this thing. I think they got a shot, but Grayson Allen, he's not the guy to build around at the 2 position, and they're just lacking a little bit of depth there. So we'll get into that in a bit. I like Memphis to cover as well. Next up, we've got Phoenix traveling to Orlando. Let's see. Phoenix is, where'd you go, Phoenix? 9.5-point favorites on the road, -500 to win. Total is at 214 points, which also seems a bit low for the Phoenix Suns. I think we're both on the Suns here, but what do you think about the total and the spread?
I think it is a low total for the Suns per se. I don't think it's as crazy for the Magic. But for the sole fact that they're playing the Suns, I'm gonna ride with the over. That's got to be one of the lowest, if not the lowest number on the night. So I really do like that over. And yeah, we're both going to be on the Suns, right?
Yeah, we're going to be on the Suns to win, but I like the over as well. The Magic have actually been playing, better recently. I mean, they're not great, but they've been playing better. Evan Fournier's back from injury. This is another situation where you could see maybe Aaron Gordon get limited minutes, might even get traded during the game. He's been the hottest name from the Magic, on the trade wire here. But I like the Suns. I do think that they'll, get a sizable lead. I actually do think that they can cover the 9.5, win by 10 up against the Magic. But the safe play here is just the money line, and obviously the books have taken that away with the -500. So I would slam the over here of 214 points. That's way too low for a team like the Suns, where they're 8-2 in their last 10 straight up, 9-2 in their last 11 ATS. So I don't think we should be that afraid of the 9.5 points.
Yeah. No, those trends right there really, really make you confident.
Absolutely. Next up, we've got the Clippers traveling to San Antonio. Both teams are 5-5 straight up in their last 10. Both are 4-2 ATS in their last 6. Over under for the Clippers, 4-6 in their last 10. The under 6-3 for San Antonio in their last 9. So instantly, I like the under 220 points here, and I do I feel like there's some backdoor value here for the Spurs. They're a really gritty team, and I honestly don't know how the Spurs are still in playoff contention with this roster that they have. I mean, they're getting so much out of these guys. What was it? Keldon Johnson, the rookie, LaMarcus Aldridge was still doing pretty well before they sat him down. They're still winning games without him. I don't understand that. Rudy Gay, obviously, DeRozan, DeJounte Murray. I mean, they've got some like low key guys they're driving the win column here. I do like the Spurs tonight as a +6 option. What do you think? Am I crazy?
This is actually a game I wouldn't touch prior to the game. I think if anyone was wanting to bet the Clippers, I think it's a game where you probably wait to get it live. For me, it's just I see so often the Clippers first 2 quarters, they might look great, and then they just hit this lull in the third quarter. I don't know if it's just halftime coming out flat all the time, what exactly it is, but they could have a 16-point lead at half, and the next thing you know, it dwindles down to a 3-point going into the fourth. And so I really just don't. I agree with you. If I had to be on something, I'd probably stay on the Spurs. But anyone watching, I would say if you want the Clippers, maybe wait till you get a live line. See how the game's kind of moving.
Yeah, I do not like the money line. I'm definitely going to stay away from that in this matchup here. I like the Spurs on the +6, and I'm going to take the under 220. Spurs, they've just been playing that gritty ball recently, so I'm gonna ride them on this one. But I do like your advice to bet it live in general, because I do believe it is closer than the line of -225 and +195 would tell you. All right, next up we've got Atlanta traveling to Sacramento. What is it? -140 on the money line for the Hawks, 2.5-point spread. The total is 235.5. Wow, that's a big number. I feel like that number is just that big because they just know it. They just know it's going over. The way that the Hawks play, a lot of run and gun offense. Same thing with the Kings. I guess that's just what they're expecting here. I'll take the over 235, and I'll take the Hawks on the money line. I'm going to stay away from the spread.
Yeah, I would be curious to see what both of these teams play as far as pace of play is, because I feel like they're both just get out and go. Especially any team led by De'Aaron Fox, they're just speed. Talk about just a terrible game. I feel like to bet. The only thing I would really like is the over, because you have the Kings can't play defense even if they try. I like the Hawks probably on the money line there, but I don't know. It's a tough game to bet.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna stay away from the spread. Like I said, I'm just gonna take Atlanta on the money line because that's just where they're giving me the value. When you get them that low, what is it? Atlanta's 8-2 in their last 10, 5-1 ATS in their last 6. They're playing very well right now. I think it has a lot to do with getting Bogdanovich back. I mean, he's been, not necessarily a guy that does it all, but he does a lot of a little, or a little of a lot. I'm sorry, I should say.
Yeah, he's kind of that glue guy, kind of fills in all the cracks that that they've been missing without him, for sure.
Yeah, so I like the Hawks money line. I'm going to keep it simple with that one. Last game up we got here is Brooklyn traveling to Utah, +10, road dogs, +420 on the money line, looking at negative or -525 on the money line, and I think that even crawled up to -600 for the Jazz. Looking at a total of 229.5. If James Harden's in the game, I'll take the over. You got to wait and see on that. That game doesn't start until, what is it, 10:10 Eastern time.
It looks like it just changed. He is out. He will be out tonight.
So take the under. There it is. Going to be the Utah by 15 if you want to do an ulterior line, because they're going to smash them. No Kyrie, no James Harden, no KD. I mean, who's going to be doing what here?
I'm gonna be dead honest. I don't know if I could even name the start who will be the starting 5 for this Nets team.
Amon Shaman, Joe Harris, Jeff Green, Nick Claxton, and I'm missing somebody, but it was pretty damn close, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean that a bunch of no names in my opinion. I mean they do hold some fantasy value, so any fantasy owners out there, don't come at me. But
go scoop up some Joe Harris and Jeff Green for tonight. Oh, Bruce Brown. That's what it is. Bruce Brown.
Yep. That's true. I think Jazz just take it away.
Hammer.
Yep.
That was one you wanted to get in on early today. Because obviously the news with the hard getting pulled. So if you got a low number on the Jazz earlier this morning, golf clap to you. I love it.
So now, real quick, are all these injuries here?
All right. Yeah, my God. You keep looking at the waivers, and it's just like, all right, let's sort it by the minutes. Who's playing a lot? Injured guy. Oh, hey, Monty Morris. There he is. Or
it's crazy.
What was it? Reggie Bullock, Alec Burks.
Reggie Bullock, yeah.
Knicks players, because they play a ton of minutes.
I also have to give you a shout out for having a Daniel House prop, because I feel like just a few weeks ago we were trashing on him for always being at the top of the waivers. But I like that, hopping on it.
I mean, he's playing like 33 plus minutes a game. Like, I can't, you know what I mean? Like,
they give him free reign on that team.
I can't stay away from it. So as long as he's getting the minutes, I'll throw it in there. I thought it was kind of low for him, actually. I mean, he's like, what was it? The last game, he only took 4 shots and he hit that prop. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So yeah, he's playing a ton of minutes. I'm all about him. He might even be on this list. I'm not sure, but let's go with the first guy I got up here. I got me Dougie McBuckets, only 17% roster. Doug McDermott for the Indiana Pacers. I feel like that has a lot to do with Karis LeVert coming back. People are just jumping off the train, but what a bad idea. 20 points, 15 points, 17 points his last 3 games. The rebounds and assists aren't there in high volume, but this guy gets you the 3-pointers made. 2, 1, 2, 1, 4 in his last, 6 games. I mean, he's always good for some perimeter shooting. And, I mean, he's been driving the number recently. I mean, what was it? 19 minutes a game ago, 15 points. 17 minutes a game before that, 17 points. Anytime he gets any real volume, he's guaranteed to hit 20 points. He had 30 minutes, 20 points in his last game. So I'm all about him. Fire him up. I mean, you mostly need the points, right? I mean, if you need points, Doug's the guy to go chase.
Yeah. Yep. That and 3-pointers, definitely good streaming option. If you're playing in the categories league, you see you need some threes for the week. But like you said, you're not going to get too much out of him. On defensively, he is very good though about not turning the ball over. You're not losing anything there.
Catch and shoot. Let's go. Catch and shoot. Who's the next guy up?
Next up, we got, I believe he was on here last week too. So if you haven't scooped him up, is Thomas Zadaransky for the Bulls.
Yeah.
Assist machine over there.
He's only 20% owned still, and this is 2 weeks in a row he makes the cut. At the Hizzy here. I mean, I don't know what you guys are doing. Go pick this guy up. He's still 20%. It's really low for him, I feel like.
Definitely. Actually, and when I was looking at some prop bets for tonight, I almost wanted to take him to have a double-double tonight. I can't remember what the number was at, but he's consistently right there with points. I mean, you're good for about 10 to 12 maybe from him. And he just is right around there with assists. You get some 9s, some 7s, and I thought maybe tonight with a easier opponent in the Cavaliers, maybe you'd see some. So definitely for fantasy, I think he is a great ad for people to go get.
Yeah, I agree as well. Next up, we got Jay Crowder, 34% owned. Dude just plays a ton of minutes. He's had over 27 minutes in his past 5 games. And before that, he had an 18-point game. Before that, he had a 31-point game. Just sprinkles in a little bit of everything, points, rebounds, assists. But most importantly, he plays defense. He's good for a block and a steal a game. So he's definitely someone to covet in category leagues for sure, because you can always count on him for blocks and steals. And doesn't turn the ball over too often either. Did you have Jay Crowder at one point? I was going to say, I heard that.
No, I don't think I did. But I feel like he's the modern day Kenneth Faried.
Wow!
They always look. First off, I used to always get them confused because they just look identical. They always have their dreads going with the headbands. So, and they're just hustlers, like you said. They play defense. They put in those. They just grind it out. So really, that's kind of the comparison I have. So if he's out there and he's on a Suns team that they're playing well.
How old is Kenneth Faried for him to be a modern day Kenneth Faried?
He's got 31. 31. He's over in China now, so
That's
modern
what he's
day.
doing. I was just gonna say, like, what happened to Kenneth Faried? Like, 31. That's a young man in the NBA. Come on now. What's he dropping? Quadruple doubles over there in China? What the hell? Him
I'm
playing
sure
on
he's
Jimmer's
got-
team?
Yeah.
You rebound, I score. That's how it works. Next guy up, we've got Alfred Payton. He's actually 31% owned, which is kind of shocking because he missed some time here. His first game back, he got 21 minutes, 7 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, 3 steals. He's a must own. I think that he gets prioritized still over Emmanuel Quickly and Derrick Rose. So I'm all about him. I had him on my team for a while. He was going through those like those really dips, the low of the lows. When they first introduced Derrick Rose back onto the team, and then Emmanuel Quickly was starting to pick up some steam. So I had to let him go. But if I get in trouble at guard again, I definitely am going to pull him back up the list. If you're in need of one, he's the guy to be targeting for sure.
Yeah, I haven't been too high on him, but I don't think it's because of him. I do think, like you said, he adds value when he plays. A lot of it is, and we it's firsthand watching the Bulls when they had Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau just can't decide on a single point guard. He loves backup point guards, and he will just continuously keep them moving. So, I mean, it seems like Alfred Payton will go off, then it's kind of ebbs and flows, and then Emmanuel Quickly will show these spurts where, he's the guy, he's going to be the guy, and then Derrick Rose is just casually in there dropping his 18 points, looking like D Rose of the past. So I no offense to Alfred Payton, I think it's more scheme for me, but definitely a great streaming option if anyone can get him.
I think you should. I think he's a guy to own. Honestly, I think his role is going to really turn up as we get closer to the playoffs here because they're one of those teams that are pretty much on the bubble. They're 500. You lose a couple of games, you're out of the playoffs right now, right? A team behind you wins 3 games, you lose 3, you're out. And I feel like his experience and Thibodeau's trust for him is going to continue to flourish as we get closer to the playoffs. So he's a guy that I want to write out into my fantasy playoffs as well.
Quickly, when we're on the Knicks, I did see something today stating that Julius Randle now jumped up to the favorite for most improved player.
Okay.
He's sitting at minus 150 now. Crazy to think. I believe just a few weeks ago, we were talking about that. If he had the chance to do it, or someone like Jeremy Grant would sneak in there, but good for Julius Randle. Good for the Knicks in general.
Yeah, he was, I believe, about a week ago, he was plus 650 to win that award. So that's nice to see. That's nice to see. Who's the next
to grab that? Next man up. I actually went back and forth with this guy for quite a while. Nicholas Claxton, center for the Nets. He's only 22% rostered right now. But if he gets those blocks, steals, he'll even chip in, rebounds. He really is a guy who kind of can plug and play. I know I was looking for some blocks maybe end of last week, and I tossed back and forth. I was like, do I get him? Do I not? But I think he's a must own right now. I think, especially with a dinged up Brooklyn team, go grab him. He's going to get you some solid points there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they're going to really want DeAndre Jordan fresh for the playoffs. So they're going to need a lot out of him. So I think Claxton is a guy that's also going to be up for a bigger workload here down the stretch of the season. So yeah, I added Claxton in fantasy, so I'm all about him. I'm with it.
I think too that they want to get some experience for him, get some under his belt, so then when the playoffs do come, they won't just be heavily on Jordan. I think they feel like they'll be comfortable enough with Claxton down there. So
yeah, I agree.
Definitely go grab him if you can.
All right, next up we got Nickeil Alexander-Walker getting a lot of playing time recently. Last game, 34 minutes, 18.7 rebounds, 3 assists. Prior game, 31 minutes, 20 points, rebounds, an assist, a steal, and 2 blocks. He did have 4 turnovers in his last game, but I feel like that just comes from getting a little bit more playing time. I know Lonzo Ball is hurt right now. I think Bledsoe may be on a limits situation, so he's looking really good. What is he? Only 19% owned. I was going to say 22 again, but plus 14% in the last day, meaning just a couple of days ago he was only 5 or 6% owned. So I think you guys need to get a hold of Alexander Walker. We could also see a looming Lonzo Ball trade, so that could open up some more production and minutes available for Alexander Walker as well. I think he should definitely be someone to get on your roster tonight, because tomorrow, if Ball gets gone by the afternoon, it's going to be tough to get him. I think he's going to be on a there's going to be just a sweeping buying spree of Alexander Walker. Sorry, couldn't get that out. Who's next guy up? Who we got?
Next up, we got Moses Brown for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's about 42% owned right now, or rostered. So,
dude is absolutely cleaning up rebounds. I don't get it.
Yeah, and I feel like I missed this boat. I was looking at him. I think it might have been 2 weeks ago now, and someone in our league just ended up snagging him up, and then he has just turned into just a beast down there for him. Yeah, I mean, and he's also tossing in double-digit points. I mean, really, if you could have snagged him a week or so ago, good for you. And if he's still available, pick him up, and keep him on your roster.
Yeah, absolutely. Was it 42% owned? Yeah, missed the bus on that one. I was looking for some props on him the past couple of days. Nothing. Won't give it up. Won't give me a number.
Nothing.
Too small sample size, apparently, according to the books, because they wouldn't put his name in the mix. It's driving me a little crazy. Little 8 or 9 rebounder, because he had 4 3 games ago, right? So I mean, maybe they get that down to 9, 8 rebounds. Give me the over. Nothing. Yeah,
and I'm looking at this game. I'm looking at this game. I had March 16th against the Bulls. 20 points, 16 rebounds, 5 blocks.
That's God.
I mean, you're not finding that from many guys right now on the waiver wire. So
no,
if he's there, you gotta pick him up.
Yeah, absolutely agree. All right, let's jump into some NBA trade banter here. Jump into some deadline talk. Deadline's coming up tomorrow. If you guys already haven't, be sure to like and share the video and follow us on YouTube at /Take It to the Hizzy. All right, let's jump in here. Name I've already brought up earlier. Well, I guess we'll just start with the Magic. Evan Fournier and Aaron Gordon. Any ideal locations that you could see them going? I've heard the Nuggets. I've heard for Fournier. I've heard the Nuggets for both of those guys, and I've heard the Celtics for Gordon. What are you thinking? What are you seeing?
Yeah, I have heard a lot about Aaron Gordon. I think he might actually be the first one moved out of those two. I've heard the Celtics are really, really going to be in play there. I just think it's more of who they want. I know there's a guy that we'll be talking about a little bit later on in Harrison Barnes that I also think would be a great fit for them.
For the Celtics?
Just kind of, yeah.
Okay.
So I think Aaron Gordon would be good. I don't know how much he offers, though. I don't know how much he takes your team to the next level. That is a little bit of bias on my end. I think he just doesn't have the it factor that I'm necessarily looking for, but maybe a good role player on the right team, maybe.
Yeah, I honestly
Nuggets could use him.
I feel like the Nuggets would be a good fit for Aaron Gordon or Evan Fournier. I think Evan Fournier is the better fit there for what their team needs right now. But I also like the Spurs for Evan Fournier. I think that, just that spot in the lineup, if you had DeJounte Murray, Evan Fournier, DeMar DeRozan, Keldon Johnson, and then was it Poeltl at center? I think that's a solid lineup. And you just give yourself another wing scorer that can also, drive and penetrate the lane, i.e. DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan has a good, jump shot, but he doesn't shoot very many three-pointers. So I think if you add a perimeter shooter like Fournier, who can also take it to the paint, to the Hizzy, as it were, I think that would really boost them up. And they're a team that's, they're in the playoff hunt. They're right there. I think a move like that would put them over the top. I think another move that would put another team over the top is the Suns and Aaron Gordon. I think if Aaron Gordon somehow landed himself in Phoenix, I think they would have to give up a piece or two, maybe even a Mikal Bridges who has been playing well.
Ooh.
I think that would put you guys in just finals conversation, just over the top. Too much?
So, I feel like Mikal Bridges is actually that guy who I would prefer over Gordon. I just really feel like he is that role player for good teams. I think he gets it done. Scoring, defensively, rebounds. He does it all. He can play defense. He can guard some of the better players. Long, lengthy type player. If I were building a championship roster right now, I think I would want Mikal Bridges over Aaron Gordon. But personal preference, I could definitely see some other people wanting, thinking Aaron Gordon be a better fit.
I'm just a little bit worried about the Suns scoring in the fourth quarter come playoff time. I feel like that some teams are going to be able to keep Booker and Paul in check when it comes to playoff basketball, really locking your guys in. And then, what is it, Bridges, Jay Crowder, and Ayton. I just think that they're just maybe a level below, some of these other, 3 through 5s that are going to be, in playoff runs. So I think that, grabbing another guy that can really push the pace offensively, what would extremely benefit them, for a strong playoff push. Now, I agree with everything you said about Mikal Bridges. I just feel that the only, overwhelmingly or area that's overwhelmingly better than Aaron Gordon would just be defensively. And I feel like you can make up that defense just about anywhere at any time. Even with Aaron Gordon, I just feel like if there's a part of his game that he's lacking, it's a little bit on defense, a little bit lazy on defense, I'd say. But he can shoot from anywhere in the gym, Aaron Gordon. I would think he would really pole vault them, if you will, in that playoff conversation. Evan Fournier, I'm trying to think of any other places. I didn't like the Celtics for him, like I said. Memphis was another team that I mentioned earlier. Grayson Allen is kind of a glaring hole at that 2 spot. If you had John Morant, Evan Fournier, Dylan Brooks, Kyle Anderson, Valanciunas, like, man, that's beautiful. Let's go. And that's just one small move. I think that they could get it done without having to give up too much for Evan Fournier. Now, does Evan Fournier necessarily like going from Orlando to Memphis? I don't know. I don't know about that. I have seen Kyle Lowry in the mix for potentially going to the Magic. I guess we'll kind of bridge that to the Raptors and Kyle Lowry and Norman Powell. I feel like Lowry should definitely be as far away from the Magic as possible. I don't know how the Magic could be interested in him at his age, unless they're just trying to, get something else out of it, like a Norman Powell for the future or something like that. And vice versa, the Raptors on the receiving end, I think they'd be more than comfortable taking Aaron Gordon, Vucevic, Fournier off their hands. I just don't necessarily know how that package would work. But back to Kyrie Lowry specifically, I think the teams that I've heard the most are the 76ers, because he's from Philadelphia. The Clippers would reunite him with Kawhi Leonard. Love that move, by the way. And then what was the last one that I heard? Oh, Miami, who really, really needs an elite one. Miami feels like getting Kyle Lowry just takes them, back to the finals in their opinion, quote unquote. So, what are you thinking about Kyle Lowry and the Raptors? And I'm assuming you can't imagine that they actually match up with the Magic.
I don't see the Magic being in there. I don't really know why they would want Lowry. I feel like any team that's going to be going after Lowry is a clear championship contender. I'm not sure if you saw this Woj bomb. It might not have happened too long before the show started, but Lakers are actually a sleeper team for Lowry out there.
Why?
So, I mean, can they have too many players? I don't think so.
I don't like that whatsoever.
I mean, Schroeder then coming off your bench. That's a microwave player who can heat up at any time. That's what I'm wanting in a 6-man.
Absolutely. But I mean, Schroeder, I feel like he's earned the minutes. I feel like he's the guy at the 1 spot. He's been playing very well this year.
Yep. It could also be possibly a depth thing. Just with, they've seen their fair share of injuries, COVID restrictions. But Kyle Lowry, I think if I had to put my money on where he will be playing post the deadline, and maybe it's just because there's been so much chatter, it seems like this Philly Lowry to Philly just seems
Mhm.
kind of like a done deal. They're just trying to hammer some things out. What do you?
It would really give them a ton of creativity in roster management and managing their lineup, because they are also going to be getting JJ Redick, who is being bought out by the Pelicans and expects to sign with the 76ers. So
Okay,
yeah,
second Woj bomb. Then to just kind of piggyback off that, I
uh,
also heard this could be a war between the Sixers and the Nets, both for JJ Redick.
oh, good luck with
It,
that. Why
well,
do the
I
Nets
mean, it
need
would
JJ
make
Redick?
sense.
That's ridiculous. The Nets are just being. I mean, they need to be targeting a big man. The Nets should be all but interested still in going after Andre Drummond, or somebody like that. Like obviously, Blake Griffin's not going to work out. I mean, we can pull up his game logs, but for the sake of his pride, let's not do that. It's like 2 minutes a point, or 18 minutes 2 points or something like that. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, that's where they need to level up. Adding another Joe Harris, adding another Jeff Green. Like, come on now. Like they have perimeter shooting. They have those guys. JJ Redick will play a much bigger role in Philadelphia. He's already played there. He's very familiar with Rivers, or Doc Rivers. So I think that's just like, I don't know where that's coming from, but whatever. I mean, if you want to get into a bidding war for JJ Redick, then that's by all means go ahead. But I do
So,
think. Go ahead.
are you worried at all? I mean, would it mean you're moving Danny Green, Seth Curry? Well, Seth is hurt, I guess,
Oh.
now. I don't know what the extent of that is, but I
Mhm.
mean, how are you going to get all three of those shooters involved?
You just always have one on the floor. That's it. You just always have one on the floor. It's that simple.
That's fair, spreads the floor a lot, and I guess that's great for Ben Simmons, who cannot do anything beyond the arc. So it
Well, yeah,
allows him to get
shooting
to
wise,
the rim.
yeah, but that's where you get to start the play, right? Because now you can actually move Simmons to the three and have him as your point
Yeah,
guard still.
yeah,
You get Kyle
very true.
Lowry in motion, being able to shoot off the ball, whereas he can never do that in Toronto. And the same thing goes for whoever you have in there. Whether it's JJ Redick, Seth Curry, or Danny Green, it doesn't matter. You'll just always have one of them at the two. You'll have Lowry and maybe Maxley or Milton at the one. You'll be working in, Harris can work into the 3 or 4, and then you got Simmons working between, the shooting guard and small forward. How are you going to beat this team? They have like
Yeah.
2 point guards on the floor. One of them's playing the 3. What are you going to do? That'd be really, really tough and big trouble for teams in the East if they were to get them. So yeah, what am I looking at here? If they got Lowry, my starting lineup would be Lowry, Simmons. Just give Danny Green the start because he can actually play the 3, and then Tobias Harris and Embiid, of course, when he's actually back. I mean, Bradley hasn't been that bad. Dwight Howard, not terrible as a backup, right? Even was it Vincent Poirier? He's not that bad off the bench. If anything, if someone's going to get hurt out of this, it's going to be Kormats. I think he'll get some less minutes, but he's still very valuable because he can play the 3. I just don't know how you get him on the roster. Like, who are you going to give up? You know what I mean? Like, how does that work, and how does the team look after the trade? I would have to imagine, like a Kormats or Milton would be on the table.
Well, so what I believe that all signs are pointing to for JJ is that it will be a buyout scenario.
Yeah, he is definitely getting bought out by the Pelicans, so he's going to have he can pick wherever he wants to go.
Yeah. So, but I mean, then I don't think you have to worry as much about.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Well, I guess giving up to get Lowry. I guess I do get what you're saying. My mistake.
No, you were right. I was still thinking trade in my head, but at the same time, someone just gets backed off on minutes. That's all. And I feel like that's going to be Milton and Kormans, but obviously that's fine. That would be a championship roster. I also really like the Clippers. Going over there, I know Patrick Beverley, really inconsistent, but reuniting with Kawhi, really leveling up that lineup. What is it? Lowry, Paul George, Kawhi, Serge, and who am I missing here?
Last big Zubac, is that who, or has he just been filling in for Ibaka when
he comes off
Ibaka's
the bench,
been hurt?
Oh, Marcus Morris and Batum. Any one of those are decent options.
You kind of get
but that's a roster, man. Like that 5, that would put them to the back to the top of the West, even if they're not at the top of the West. You know what I mean? That's another team.
Yeah,
I mean, guys, guys taking nights off and et cetera, right? So I think that'd be a great fit.
Yeah, and I really think Lowry would be in favor of that. Reunite with Serge and Kawhi, who's a part of that championship team. Try and make the magic happen one more time.
Yeah.
I definitely think that would put them in a great spot. And you hit it on the head with love Patrick Beverly, gritty player, gets it done on the defensive floor, but he's not going to be the guy that's going to be winning any titles.
Right. So what do you think about Norman Powell then? His name's nothing but on the block here. I guess I have to go back to some of those teams that I mentioned in like Memphis and the Spurs that just kind of have a big hole at that 2 spot. I'd love him in either situation.
Yeah, I agree with both of those teams, and I actually like kind of how both of those teams are set up. I don't think Norman Powell is a name, say like Kyle Lowry, that a championship contender is going to necessarily be going after right away. I think Norman Powell is a guy that you add into the mix, let him grow with your team, and maybe say in a year or 2 years, then you're pushing towards the top of the standings. And I think Spurs, they have a young enough roster where you can see him pair up with them. It's similar in where we just talking about Memphis. Young roster, let them grow all together for the remainder of this year. See what you can do maybe in the playoffs. See if you maybe make a little run, maybe you don't, but then you come back and you have a full squad next year. So I actually really like. I think I like Memphis a little bit more than the Spurs.
Yeah, as far as youth goes, yeah, Memphis is definitely leans more that way for sure. I'll throw another one in there. How about the Dallas Mavericks? Not necessarily a glaring hole, but wow, what he would do to that team if transferring from Toronto to Dallas. I think Norman Powell would be a great fit with Luka, Porzingis, and what they got working with down there.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. Let's move on. I'm going to skip John Collins. It doesn't sound like he's getting moved. We already talked about JJ. What about Kelly Oubre? What was that?
Real quick, just to touch on John Collins, just because I don't understand that really at all. Why are the Hawks looking to move him? I know he doesn't want to be moved, but is there more going on behind the scenes that we don't know about? Or I feel like John Collins is a good young player who you could possibly have on a team to help you build.
The fucking Nuggets are down by 18. No, and Siakam's already hit his prop of 20 points. Jesus.
And that was our what lock at 2.5.
No big deal. That's fucking locks kill me. Somebody knew something about the Raptors that I didn't. Apparently, it was just the going out party for Lowry and Norman Powell. I don't know. I went the wrong way on that. I guess Hornets and Rockets are tied up at least. I don't know. I think it just has to deal with Collins not being that elite guy for them in the paint anymore because Clint Capella's down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now they're trying to use him as more of a stretch 4, and it doesn't really seem like that's his role. And I don't think he's going to be comfortable playing behind Capella or whatever alongside Capella for the next couple of years. So I think that's what has to do with it. He's a restricted free agent at the end of this season. So obviously, if you're going to get something for him, like you should move him, right? Because anybody, in the NBA, RFAs, they might as well be unrestricted because somebody out there can just go and offer you the max, and you can't always, respond with that, right? So I think that the idea is that, hey, this guy's not going to be with us long term. Let's get something for him. But now it sounds like the talks have cooled down. He's going to stay. He really likes it there, et cetera. All that moxie talk, right? So, yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to get moved. So I don't know. Maybe in the offseason, but it doesn't look like it'll be today or tomorrow. Next up, we've got Kelly Oubre for Golden State. Pretty much any of those teams that I just mentioned, or that we both did, Spurs, Memphis, Dallas, any of those teams that have a glaring hole to 2. CJ McCollum is back for Portland, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so they don't need him there. I mean, sky's the limit. Could really go anywhere, but I mean, there's just nowhere that just says like, hey, like this is where Kelly Oubre should be. And I think his rough start to the year kind of turned some teams off. He's been more consistent recently, but there's just nothing that just pops out and speaks to me.
I agree with that. I think it just also is something to say about Kelly Oubre. There's not. I mean, we spent how long talking about JJ Redick because he is a deadly shooter when he gets it going, and I think there are just there's nothing too eye-popping when you watch Kelly Oubre. Yeah, there's those flashes that you see at times, but like, what is his true identity? So I really have no prediction on where he could go. It could be a team who wants to rebuild with a little bit of youth there, or if someone wants a lengthy, maybe perimeter defender, you could go after him. But I don't think he's according to Steve Kerr, though, he is coveted. So maybe there's some teams out there. I was kind of shocked by that quote from old Steve.
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't agree. I mean, I guess I could see, the Nuggets, as a low key option, the Pelicans maybe after they move Lonzo, but just doesn't seem like he's going to be anybody's priority. I'll put the Mavericks in that mix too, but is he that much better than Josh Richardson? I wouldn't say light years, but I'd say he's better. So yeah, nothing just really pops out at me. Let's see. What about Andre Drummond? I mean, what's going on with this guy? I'm actually hearing the Houston Rockets right now.
I have no idea. I mean, is he getting bought out? Are they really still holding on for a trade? I mean, because I think that plays a big part. If he's bought out, it's clear he's going to go to a contender and chase that ring for this, this year.
I don't think he's going to get bought out because he just hasn't been bought out yet. I feel like if they were going to buy him out, they would have already.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's apparent to every other club that eventually he'll be bought out. So what's the point of offering, too much for him? Houston, that's intriguing to me because I hadn't heard anything about that. I think I would love to find out what direction Houston is going. Are they trading Oladipo? Are they trying to do a trust the process type thing, or are they trying to keep this overnight? I mean, really, I just don't get it. I get it wanting to trade Oladipo, and maybe it has a bit to do with contracts and all that. But building around John Wall, what's that going to do for you? And that's coming from a guy who owns John Wall and Oladipo, and Oladipo is the better ball player of the two.
Than John Wall?
Yes, better centerpiece for a team moving forward. I really do think Oladipo health might play a small bit in that.
Well, the health is pretty even to me because they're both like always hurt. Wall is actually pretty decent this year.
That's why I'm
pretty pleased with them.
I could give the nod on health a bit to John, is what I meant by that.
Got you. Well, I feel like the three that, or not the three. I was going to say three if you include Andre Drummond, but the two that you should be building around is John Wall and Christian Wood. And if you bring an Andre Drummond into that, you can maybe even move Christian Wood down to the 4. He's a little bit lankier. He can play a bit of a stretch 4. So I would love that. Starting with John Wall, Christian Wood, and Andre Drummond. We'll figure out the rest next season. I mean, we just mentioned, I don't know how many 2 guards that would be available. If they were able to get Drummond before any of those guys that we mentioned, like Evan Fournier or Kelly Oubre, give it to me. Go get Drummond. Go give up a pick for him, and then give up some back end pieces. Some Jashawn Tate, some Daniel House for like in a random second round pick for a Kelly Oubre or somebody like that. Like I would love that if I could sprinkle in some fantasy action into the NBA. Give me some John Wall, give me some Kelly Oubre. I'll even keep Daniel House on the team with Christian Wood and Andre Drummond. I'll take that. I'll take that any day. Twice on Tuesdays.
What about if Andre Drummond ended up in, say, a place like New York?
Woo! I would bet on them to make the playoffs.
I
would bet on the Knicks to make the playoffs. That's what I would do for certain. That would be awesome. I was loving it. I would love it. They were talking up that rumor, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago, maybe even more or longer than that, because Drummond's been out for I don't know how long. I don't know what this guy's doing.
This is just never ending.
Yeah, I'd like to see him in on a contender. I mean, I'd like to see that, but I just don't know what contenders are going to go out and try to get him because I don't believe that he's going to get bought out. I feel like someone's going to have to give up, a draft pick for him. I think that's the cost. Like, hey, we want a first round pick. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's look at some other names here. We had who is it? We'll jump into Oladipo. So Oladipo, I don't know what kind of value you're going to hold for him right now in a trade. He seems like a guy that should be bought out because like he's always hurt. He just can't stay on the floor.
But he's a guy who can, I mean, drops 30 when he's in. He drops the points. I mean, that is why I think I give him the edge over John Wall on that. Is he still is that spark that some teams. I heard there's a possibility. I personally like him to go to the Heat. I think that is a Pat Riley move.
That's a good idea.
It screams like Jimmy Butler coming from the Sixers to them. It screams that to me. Pat Riley definitely doesn't pull any punches when he's trying to add on to what he thinks is a championship team. So my betting favorite, I would say, you'd go with the Heat. But I have heard some rumors that it's a possibility that he goes back to the Magic. Maybe you see Aaron Gordon move from there for Oladipo that way.
That would be interesting. I like Miami. I mean, they have depth at guard, so like you just don't have to ask Oladipo to be the guy right away. You know what I mean? Like you're always going to have Kendrick Nunn there, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Goran Dragic when he's healthy. So I feel like that would be a good spot for him because initially coming in, he just wouldn't be thrown to the front saying, "Hey, go get us some wins." You know what I mean? So I'd like that situation. I'd like that a lot actually. What about Lonzo Ball? We got LaMelo injured now for the Hornets. I think like everybody and their mother, that's the pick that they were saying was, oh yeah, he's going to go play with his brother, in Charlotte. MJ is going to pull the trigger for sure. Does that LaMelo injury like play effect in that and keeping Lonzo staying? I'm sorry, in New Orleans, or is there going to be another buyer here at the 13th hour?
I think maybe if LaMelo was healthy, it actually might have helped their case a little bit more because I feel like they felt like they could make a little bit more of a push. Lonzo Ball, I have heard so many rumors with him in it, whether it be from the Bulls, the Nuggets, the Wizards have been in there. I just hear so many different people, and I just don't know what is the asking price. I'll ask you this: what is the price you're giving up for Lonzo Ball?
They want a first-round pick. Not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
I mean, his 3-point shooting has definitely improved, but
doesn't matter.
I don't need 10 and 8 a game for a first-round pick. It's just not gonna happen.
Nope.
So really, I don't know. It's possible he stays put just because that
they're not
price
going to get the first round pick for him.
Yeah, team's a little steep.
Yeah, that is a bit much. When I saw that, I laughed out loud. Like, who do they think they are down there? What are they doing? Letting the medical team offer trades now? This is ridiculous. Like, what is going on, New Orleans? Come on. First round pick for Lonzo Ball. Didn't work in LA. LA, shame on you. What the hell? Lonzo Ball, wasn't Jason Tatum in that draft? Come on now.
Yeah.
Failed in LA, failed in New Orleans. Not going to say failed in New Orleans because God knows what could happen, right? I mean, anything could happen over the next week, completely turns it on. But like you said, a first round pick for a 10 and 8 guy, that's Ricky Rubio. He can get you 10 and 8, 89 twice on Tuesdays, no big deal. That's the guard you want to go after for cheap if you're a championship contender. There's 1A Kyle Lowry, and then there's like 2C. Ricky Rubio, like as far as like cost goes, right? So I think that would be the guy that you'd be looking for if you're, a team like the Bulls, like the Nuggets, or whoever else you just mentioned that could be in potential, market for Lonzo Ball. I just have to feel like those other teams, like if they're actually in talks to get Lonzo, you have not seen this kid work out. Like you're just watching some film, seeing those trends, the rise in 3-point percentage. Maybe getting trapped looking at the numbers a little bit too close because you need to watch his on-court play. Like, it's just not there. Takes very questionable shots. Seems to always want to make that extra pass for the assist. I do feel like he is someone that chases his numbers, that pads his stats a little bit. I mean, and obviously playing with Zion Williamson, who is one of the hottest shooters right now in the NBA. You see he had 30 points on 13 shots the other night?
He's probably the most efficient player in the NBA
right now, at least. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Funny mustache coming your way, Blake. still top 10 in total points. Zion Williamson, number 8, chasing 6 and 7. Let's go, right? So I feel like that comes into play. I mean, if you put Lonzo Ball on the Bulls, who is he going to feed in the paint? Who's going to be finishing for him, down low? Not going to be Lauri Markkanen. We're probably going to trade him to the freaking Pelicans.
Mm-hmm. Or your 6'9" center in Wendell Carter. You think he's going to be the one going up and catching these obs? No. I have to give a shout out to, and it kills me to even do this. Jeez, I can't believe I'm doing this. You got to give a shout out to LeVar Ball, because he has built a brand around all the Ball brothers, but Lonzo himself, to be something special. We've been hearing rumors for weeks on weeks on weeks, and it's like, for Lonzo, for that type of player, seems a little odd, but you know what? It gets the headlines. So.
It does. And the Ball family, they're all about the headlines. I don't understand the whole LeVar and the Ball brand, baller brand. Isn't it like gone now? It's done.
I think it is gone now, but he's made all of them big enough stars so that the media, I guess, will treat him as such. But I mean, I haven't been impressed with Lonzo Ball, damn near dating back to his UCLA days, I feel like.
No, I mean, I was impressed with him in college. I didn't feel like he should have gone where he went as far in the draft, but the Lakers were really, really bad at that time when they drafted him. Mm-hmm. They should have been looking to move back in that draft. I think, what was Tatum drafted at, like 7 or 13, something like that?
I thought he was 3, I believe.
Oh, was he? Jason Tatum? I didn't know the Celtics were that bad that year, or maybe they just had someone else's pick. But
regardless, it was when I think they had the Nets pick. It was when they had that flurry of Nets things, and you had Markel, Lonzo, Jason, Josh Jackson, De'Aaron. I think I'll go first.
Yeah, I mean,
talk about a bunch of swing misses.
Markel Fultz, that was a terrible pick too.
Yeah, I'm happy he's getting a little bit of a resurgence in his career. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, he can bounce back from this nearest injury or this most recent.
Absolutely. All right, so we'll close down the trade talk with our Chicago Bulls. I'm seeing, Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen's name up. Wendell Carter's name was up there during the draft. We were like trying to just give away Wendell Carter so we could get James Wiseman. Do any of these guys get moved, in your opinion?
In my opinion,
feel the same way.
If Lauri Markkanen isn't moved, I will be extremely disappointed. I don't see him sticking around in Chicago after this contract. I think at least what I think is that there's got to be some team out there who is a little more in contention that would be willing to pay for him. I mean, it doesn't get many rebounds, but he can put in easy 15 points minimum a night if you give him the opportunity on good shooting. So I think you have to trade him. Do I have any faith that the Bulls will? No, because I would have already had him moved by now.
Yeah, I think he's Powell light, Pau Gasol light. He's Powell without the rebounding and defense, So you got a stretch 4 that can shoot threes. Yeah, Lauri Markkanen, he's available. We'll give him to you for, please, a first-round pick. Like, if I get Lauri Markkanen for a first-round pick, go ahead.
If Lonzo's
Celtics, he's yours.
If Lonzo's calling for a first round, we'll give up Lauri for a first round.
Oh, yeah. That's the dude I'd give it up for. If Zach LaVine gets moved off the Bulls, I'm going into boycott mode. I won't pick a single game for them the rest of the season. I will go into hate until game 1 of next year. It's kind of similar to the Bears for this year. I'm going to not love them. Pretty much show them nothing but hate until week 1, first snap of the game. So.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, trading Zach LaVine, I would really question why and what the motive is, just because I think you need him there to keep moving keep developing these young guys, because they're in games. If they start losing these games game after game by 15, 20 points, they're just going to become demotivated, things like that. I really think Zach LaVine is helping the development of your Kobe White, your Patrick Williams, everyone around him. And what are you going to get if you trade him with the picks you get? You're just starting all over. I mean, you might as well, and you might as well kiss Wendell Carter goodbye. You could even be pissing away part of Kobe White, what's left of his, time here on his rookie deal. So I would definitely be shocked if they traded him. First All-Star the Bulls have had since like 2012 or something along those lines.
Would not surprised whatsoever. And again, if the Bulls want to move in Levine, first off, they better get a huge haul. They need at least one star player in the mix, and they're going to need a first-round pick. I just don't see it happening. But I could see the Bulls just reverting and rebuilding again, because what have we been doing? Like, seriously, for the past decade and a half. Rebuild,
spinning the tires.
rebuild. Baby Bulls, forever the baby Bulls, baby Bulls, baby Bulls. I'll say it. I've said it multiple times. This offseason, I wanted experience, specifically Chris Paul. I wanted Christian Wood. I wanted elite talent. We had the cap. We had the space. What did we do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, once Otto Porter's contract is off this team, like literally they have like a glaring hole in the cap space. Like, he is holding it up the Bulls cap by a lot, like suspender style. It's ridiculous. But all right, let's jump into some live betting opportunities, and we'll close down the show. If you guys already haven't, be sure to share and like the video and follow us on YouTube, youtube.com/take it to the Hizzy. All right, first up, we've got the Pacers over the Pistons, 92-86. We're looking at a live total of 222.5. We have just started the fourth quarter. There's about 10 minutes left. Pistons have scored 7 fourth quarter points to the Pacers 6. We're looking at a 7.5 point spread, and I like it. Right now we're looking at 6 points here. You like the Pistons to cover that 7?
No, I like the Pacers to cover that 7.
I think I
think that they're going to keep it going.
I don't know. I've seen a couple of different lead changes in this game, so I'm going to trust the Pistons. Totals at 222. I'm going to say the over. I mean, they're really not that far off of it, and especially if I'm on the Pistons covering, they should keep the scoring going here. You like that total?
Yeah, I definitely like the total. Still a lot of time left, almost 10 minutes here in the quarter. I was trying to pull up the box score here to see if anyone was really doing anything crazy, but it looks like an all-around effort from everyone. So, yeah, I really like that over.
All right, right on. Next up, we're looking at, good God, Steve, 89-60 Raptors over the Nuggets, 22-point lead. Fuck. Blind spot, man. There was something that we missed. I'm telling you, like, this line was way too close. It's kind of similar like when we looked at the total for the Hawks and the Kings. It's just that high. We got to take the over. It's just that high, right? I just don't understand it. I don't get it. It's driving me crazy here. We're looking at a 15.5 point spread. You taking the Nuggets at 15.5? Wow. I got to.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking Nuggets at 15.5, and I'm looking at this box score, and it just the starting 5 for the Raptors are killing it. All but Kyle Lowry's in double digits, and Kyle Lowry's doing it in different ways. He's 5 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. So, but that number, I got it at 15.5. I've tried to take those a couple times and them not hit, so I'm going to take Nuggets plus 15.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Still in game live. Next up, we've got the Celtics and the Bucks. I've been watching that one here live. Bucks are killing it for me. 76-59, looking like they're going to be taking home that money line win for me. We're looking at a 16.5 point spread here on the Celtics. I don't like it. I've been watching it live, and they're just dropping way too many open looks. Live totals at 244.5. I feel like that's an underplay here. Just started the third quarter.
Yeah, I like that under too. Boston hasn't been scoring coming out of halftime, so I'll ride the under there. But I think we really hit on it at the beginning. Bucks, we're gonna run away with this. Boston being on the road. So what was the line again? You said?
The line is now 18.5 since we started the discussion on them. It was at 16, so it's at 18.5. I'm not gonna take either team to cover that. I just really love the total of 245. the Bucks came out and they've put up 9 points to 0 points for the Celtics to start the second half. So I'm going to ride pretty heavy on the Bucks here and that over. Let's see. Next up, we've got the Magic over the Suns by 2. This Magic team has been really, really tricky. Glad I didn't lay that minus 500 money line. Right now, we're looking at a live total of 230 points, which is good because the total starting the game, Steve, was 214, and we both took the over. So cheers to that. Looks like we should sail over that number. We're looking at a 5-point spread here with the Magic on the plus side of things. I got to take the Suns, right? At the 5, they were at 9 or 10 points to start the game.
Yeah. I mean, it's really just went in our favor. We were both all over the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was just one half. They were able to keep it close. Looks like Phoenix kind of struggled in the second quarter, but I don't see them having any issues covering this 4.5. And I actually really, really like that number. And guy we had mentioned earlier, Jay Crowder, going off 12 points tonight.
Nice. You got how's Vucevic look on rebounds right now?
He has 7 boards.
Let's go.
So you're looking good on that one.
Need him and Jokic to hit 11, both over 10. Feeling really good about it. Let's go. I put a lot into that tonight, so I'm hoping that hits. All right, next up we've got the Thunder over the Grizzlies, 53-49. Ouch. Had the Grizzlies covering in this one. They're actually down by 4. Not happy about that. Thunder coming to play here. I did have Lou Dort over 15.5 points and Ja Morant over 19.5. So I'd like to see how that's going as well. But I'm looking at a live total of 213 points, 2.5 point spread with the Thunder on the plus side of things. I got to take the Thunder at plus 2.5 right now live. Got to revert here.
Yeah, I'm looking at this game, and I think I'm going to revert as well. Go with the Thunder plus the points. Looks like that there's just not a lot of offense going for the Grizzlies. Leading scorer is your favorite, Grayson Allen. And another person we had mentioned early, go grab this guy right now if he is available. Moses Brown, 10 points, 10 rebounds, already a steal and 2 blocks for the game.
I told you, man. I was trying to get in on those props on this dude, and the books just aren't having it. They're like, no way, man. Dude's hotter than hot. We won't touch it. It's pissing me off. That's not making me happy. I'm gonna take OKC to cover. These are both two really gritty teams that play good ball defensively, man. So it really is a tough matchup to break down. But I still like the Grizzlies to win this. I just feel like if you're gonna give me the extra 2 points with OKC with the lead, the way that they've been playing all year, I got to jump on it. I got to take it. Next up, we've got the Hornets over the Rockets on the road, 52-49, looking at a live total of 220 points and a 4-point spread to the plus side of the Rockets. I'm not going to take the Rockets to cover. Again, this was a game that I really, really wanted to stay away from. The total has moved up, 5 points now? Or no, it's gone down 2 points. It was at 222 when we were saying the under, right?
Yep.
You still agree with that? We're at about 104 points total. A minute and a half left in the half. I still think we should be on the under.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was thinking about maybe going the opposite way. We still got some time left in.
In the half. We still got some time left.
I'm gonna take the over there. I think the over is gonna hit. We've got some points going right now. Semi decent number. Are you still on Hornets? Laying the points?
Yeah, looking at 5.5 points. I'm going to take, 3.5 now, and I'm still going to take the Hornets.
Yep.
I just can't do it. I can't pick Houston.
Yep, I'm in agreement with that.
All right, right now we got the Bulls up over the Cavs, 55-53 at halftime. Live total is at 213.5. Still taking the over there. I think they'll definitely come alive. Bulls started off a little bit slow, 25 points in the first, but 30 points in the second. Game was tied 25-25 after the first. Bettors got to love that type of math. Looking at a 5.5 point spread, still going to take the Bulls. Give me the Bulls in the over.
I I said at the beginning I sprinkled a little bit on the Cavs money line, so I'm doubling down. Actually, I'm taking
Okay,
Cavs again. I'm seeing
close
them
game.
at plus 240 is what I'm still
Mhm.
seeing them at. So I'm still all over that. Just for the value, just for the
How's
value.
how's the shooting props looking for Levine and Sexton? We had 25 and 23, 25 and a half
Yep,
and 23.
Levine has 18, and it looks like
Cash
Colin
money.
Sexton is actually out of this game.
Oh,
Didn't
ouch.
play. Yeah,
Well, cancel that
must have
lineup.
always
Cancel that
scratched.
bet. Sorry, all. Sorry about that. Should have been on the under. Wasn't going to play. So that bet's canceled. Ouch. All right. Next up, we've got the Mavs leading the T-Wolves on the road, 51-48. Looking at a 7-point spread. Looks like your T-Wolves are going to cover tonight. We have a live total of 233.5, smashing that under. There's a minute 46 left in the game, and it's 53-51 Dallas. So I'm hammering the under.
Let me think. Yeah, I'll hammer the under. It looks like Luka just scored his first bucket. He's only got 2 points on the day. So
Okay.
I guess I see him going off more, but obviously he's not doing too swell. So I'm gonna ride with the under on that. And I'm going to take the Timberwolves plus 6.5. They're getting some contributions from Towns and Edwards. So
Nice. Well, you took him at the
that.
+8, and I respected that.
Yeah.
So that's a good pick. It's looking solid. All right, last game here. That's live. We got the Clippers up over the Spurs by 11 points. Ouch. Was feeling the Spurs tonight. They are not feeling it themselves, though. Looking at a live total of 231.5 after the end of the first quarter. Still on the under there. I do think the Spurs can get back in it, but if they do, it's because they're playing good defense and really slowing down the pace of the Clippers, who you mentioned do like to take a breather, we'll say, in the third quarters. We have a 11.5 point spread. You going to take the Clips on that or the Spurs?
I think I gotta take the Clippers on that. They just got out to a super hot first quarter, putting up 41 points to San Antonio's 29. But I don't know though. It kills me because, like I said, come third quarter, they're gonna have a 15, 16 point lead at the beginning, and we'll see it dwindle down to a single digit lead by end of the third, beginning of the fourth. So at 11.5, gosh. You know what? Spurs plus the points, and we're gonna go with that officially.
I still think that's a pick. It's really early on. Maybe even wait another quarter. Let's see what we get. But I think the Spurs can cover 11. Good teams win. Great teams cover. Let's go Spurs. Looking at your Jokic prop, he is at 18, 5, and 5, so he should hit it. He's looking good so far. I need Jokic to hit the 11 rebounds. So as long as he gets one extra over your triple double, I'll be pretty happy. And Vucevic, I also need to hit the 11 as well. Let's see where he's at before we head out. Vucevic is at the 8, so we should be good to go. We should be good to go there. Feeling good about that. Have the Rockets started yet?
Rockets, I think they haven't. I think they have a West Coast. Oh no, Rockets did. Is that who we were talking about? Are we talking about the Hawks? I'm sorry, I'm blanking.
No, the Hawks haven't started yet either. I was just looking at my props. I wanted to wrap them up here before we close down the show here. Wanted to see how we were looking. How's Devin Booker looking in that leading scorer for the game?
He's duking it out right now with Jay Crowder and DeAndre Ayton, who all have 12 or 13. Okay. So that one's really close, but I think he's played the fewest minute out of anyone in their starting five. So maybe he's gotten some foul trouble or something.
Ouch, not cool. All right, cool. Well, yeah, props are looking good. Bets are looking good. Hopefully the profits will be ours this evening. You got anything to close down the show?
Nothing here. Appreciate everyone coming out and watching us.
Yep, absolutely. Everybody, thank you for stopping by. If you didn't have the chance, be sure to share, like the video, and follow us on YouTube, /Take It to the Hizzy. Take care. Be well. We'll see you next Wednesday. Later.